The person who doesn't even like cats is giving me money. I've always loved cats. I've been a big animal lover, and I've always have rescue cats. So I had a really special cat named Bear. I could not believe the number of homeless cats there were, because all of these cats that people called me about, they were homeless cats. They weren't Bear, but they were homeless cats. It's as if you want to know what you're thinking about, look around you,
Mhm.
because your thoughts create your reality.
Yeah, dream creation technology is universal.
Exactly. Warren Buffett has a ton of money. Doesn't mean that you and I shouldn't have enough money. So if I just believe in success and saving and creating, you are right. He said, I'm not a very religious person, but you're right. I really believe I've created this so that you can have your dream. Try it out. See what happens.
Hello, everyone. And today, in our episode of Dare to Create podcast, we have Blake, the CEO and founder of Beard and Sanctuary of Cats. And today, we're going to talk about what it took, why this dream, and all the awesomeness that's happening in her life as a result of her following her dreams and passion. So, Blake, why don't you take a moment and, introduce yourself a little broadly?
Sure. My name is Blake. I'm CEO and founder of Bear Den Sanctuary. Bear Den Sanctuary is a forever home for unadoptable and feral cats in need. I live in South Texas, and the homeless cat and dog population is just out of control. I saw so much suffering, so much hurt, and I really wanted to be able to do something to make a positive, impactful difference. So I started Bear Den Sanctuary as part of the solution to end the suffering of homeless cats in Texas and hopefully now beyond.
Hmm, thank you. And what prompted you to have it? Because there's usually a personal story behind every dream. So
You're
why cat
right.
in sanctuary?
There is a personal story. So I've always loved cats. I've been a big animal lover, and I've always have rescue cats. So I had a really special cat named Bear, Bear. She was just this beautiful black cat. She was so special. I never had to carry her in a carriage. She'd ride on my shoulder with me. When I'd come home, she'd kind of run up like a dog. Like, she was just this amazing, unique cat. She was just super, super special. And I had other cats at the time too, who of course I love, but Bear was just like this special, like, soul cat, just extra, extra amazing to me. So one day, Bear actually got out. She got out of the house and she was outside, and I figured she'd stay close. Cats are so territorial. I knew she'd stay close, but she didn't come in when I called her. All the other cats came in. They were all outdoor, indoor cats, and Bear didn't come in. I thought, what in the world? And so I looked for her, and she didn't come back. So I put out these signs, I put out flyers. I had companies that I hired who would make phone calls, these recorded phone calls. If you've seen this cat, please call. Postcards that were sent out, flyers everywhere. It was crazy. And it worked. This was an effective strategy to find a cat in that. Many people responded. They say, hey, I think I saw your cat. I think I saw your cat. So I went all over looking for this cat. I went to people's backyards. I went to apartment complexes. I went to parking lots of businesses. It didn't even make sense anymore how far I went looking for this cat. So I never found Bear. That's the tragic part of the story. What I did find is every single one of those leads led me to another homeless cat. I could not believe the number of homeless cats there were, because all of these cats that people called me about, they were homeless cats. They weren't Bear, but they were homeless cats. So I wasn't able to save Bear, but I decided right then and there, I'm going to start this sanctuary. And so every cat that we bring into Bear Den Sanctuary, every cat who we bring home, who we save, who we rescue, who we provide for their entire lives, is in honor of Bear. So that's why the sanctuary is called Bear Den Sanctuary, in honor of my special cat, Bear.
Oh, so sweet. It's always interesting how, sometimes uh, the emotions of sadness and grief or something not working out gives birth to something magical.
You're right. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So what were you up to before this all happened? Like, what were you doing in life? How was your life
Sure.
living? Like,
Yeah. So I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. I have my Bachelor of Science in nursing. And the way I use that is I was a Botox nurse of all things. I injected Botox and filler. Just, it's a fun job. It's a silly job. It was a fun way to meet interesting people from all walks of life. So I did Botox. I was Botox Blake, and I had a lot of fun with it. I did that for 15 years or so, and it provided a great way to raise my daughter. So I don't have any special background. I'm not a veterinarian. I'm not a business person. I'm just a nurse. I'm a single mom. And so I really think with so many dreams, you don't need to have some special background or training or education or PhD. You can do this with whatever skill set you have. But that's who I am. I'm a nurse. I'm a single mom. But I just knew that I can create anything. Nothing's impossible. Everything can be accomplished. And so I knew that that wouldn't hold me back, the training or lack thereof that might be perceived, that I could persevere and power through and make anything happen.
So you were saying how you believe that nothing is impossible, and you said it with such conviction and such certainty that is very, very distinct from many people. So I know you said, oh, yeah, of course you can believe anything, but I'm curious, like, where did you get it? Like, were you always like that? Is there certain things that, you know, books, mentors, things happened in life that gave you that certainty? Or was it just like you were born and you were like a baby who always believed that?
I don't know that I always believed it. I think it came with life. I remember over 20 years ago, I read a book, and it's called Holy Sweat. And the I can tell you the whole book like in a sentence, basically. Like the whole concept or preface or idea behind Holy Sweat is that your purpose in life is the intersection or the junction between your greatest joy in life and one of the world's great sufferings. So
Mm,
what is it that there's a need in life? And there's tons of them, right? There's tons of needs in life, whether it's children or the environment or homeless or animals or so many different areas. So a great hurt in life that intersects with something that brings you great joy. And cats have always brought me great joy. I don't know. Maybe I wish it was different. I don't want to be a crazy cat lady, but I just love cats. I do. And so there's a huge need. There's this huge problem with homeless cats, and having cats around brings me great joy. So I just knew that was my holy sweat. That was my calling. That was my, like, what I'm supposed to do in life. And the crazy thing is that after the situation with Bear, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start the sanctuary. This is what I'm doing. Like, I don't even know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. And so I looked for years. I looked for 2 years to find just the right property, right? And it had to meet so many specifications. It had to fit into my budget. It had to be someplace safe for me and my daughter. It had to be within driving distance to work. It had to be a perfect place for cats, first and foremost, right? Like, it had to have this huge checklist. But I knew I'd find it. I just knew. And so I looked and looked and looked and looked. And so I finally found the right property. We made a bid on it. We got the property. And so I'm packing up to move, right? I'm packing up to move to the sanctuary. And so I'm at my old house and I'm digging through my attic. I'm bringing down everything so I can throw away things, give away things, and then pack up what I'm going to keep to go to the new property, which is the sanctuary, right? And
mhm.
I'm up in the attic and I come across this little treasure box. And I remembered it's from 25 years ago. And I was living in this little tiny town in Texas, and I was working as a nurse, and I had a really interesting manager. She was so different. She was a dreamer, right? She thought outside the box. And we had these weekly meetings, and I love the weekly meetings because we were always going to do something just different. It wasn't going to be about staffing or hourly wage. I don't know. It was always about something cool, about something bigger. And so this particular meeting, she passed out these little wooden toy treasure box. And she told us, write your dream in there, write whatever it is that you want to accomplish for your life dream. What's your life dream? And I saw the box as I'm preparing to move to the sanctuary, and I'm remembering this task. I remembered it so clearly. I knew exactly what she told us to do. What I couldn't remember is what I put in the box. I could not remember because there's so many things you want to do 25 years ago. Right? I'm a nurse. I remember I wanted to travel. So I was like, I want to be a travel nurse, right? And I'm like, man, I also wanted to start a bakery. I also wanted, all these different things came to mind. So I'm like, oh, like, I don't even know what's in this treasure box that I wrote 25 years ago. So I'm like excited to see what like younger Blake wrote, right? And so I open this box as I'm preparing to move to the sanctuary, and it says to start a life-saving sanctuary for for to start a life-saving sanctuary for domestic animals. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I thought this dream was very recent, like 2, 3, 4 years old. No, this dream has been percolating for over 25 years. I was dumbfounded. I could not believe that the dream had been percolating, had been brewing, had been working its way to fruition for all this time. And I think that says something big about your intentions, right? About having a belief that you write down, that you save, that you treasure. It was literally in a treasure box, for Pete's sake, and here it is coming to fruition. I'm not a big crier, but I cried. I just could not believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all coming together.
Well, I almost cried listening to you. This was like I had like goosebumps everywhere, like tears in corners of my eyes, and this is amazing.
It was really exciting. It was like in like one more confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. Like one more confirmation that the universe has my back. One more confirmation that I'm doing what I'm been called to do. Maybe what I've been born to do. That I'm following my purpose. I think everybody in this world has a purpose, has a calling, has significance, has meaning, is called to contribute to the greater good, to leave a legacy, to leave this world a better place when we leave than when we got here. And what is that? And I think it's something that brings you joy, that's fun, that's exciting, that you look forward to, not something that's dull and dragging you down. That's not your calling. Your calling is going to be something that excites you, that brings you passion, that makes you happier, and it makes you glad that you decided to do it, to go for it. And I think it does take some guts. And I think it does take faith, not in the traditional faith, but faith that there's a calling on your life. Why are you here? It's
Mhm.
for a reason. It's to do something big. It's to do something important, and you can do it. And you don't need to win the lottery, and you don't need to come from money, and you don't need to have some incredible Harvard education. You have all the skill set within you right now, exactly as you are right this second, from whatever family situation, from whatever culture you come from whatever country you come from. You have everything in you right now to accomplish your dream, to make the world better. You've been called to do something incredible, and it's exciting, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Hmm. What would you recommend to people that I like, I want to have a dream. I know it's so close, but like I have no idea what it is. Like, what would you say to that person?
For the person who doesn't know their dream, I think they really do. I think they have their own holy sweat, because if you think about whatever it is, if we go back to holy sweat, what in the world is causing is a great hurt, is a great need, and it intersects with your great joy. I think you'll be able to find it. If not, there really are some amazing books. One of the books I read that I highly recommend, it's this one. It's called E Squared. It's
Mhm.
by Pam Grout. This lady is like on to something. This is such a fun book. It'd be really fun to do this like in a book group or something. I didn't do it, but it has these little experiments. And again, it's experiments for anyone. And it's to test out that the universe has your back, that you're called for something bigger, that you're called to do something important. And it's not so difficult. We don't have to try so hard. We don't have to have so much money or so much skill or so much anything. It's already with us exactly as we are. And so I would highly recommend Pam's book, E Squared. Another book that she wrote that I would probably read after E Squared is called Think and Grow Rich. It's also by Pam Grout.
Mhm.
Fantastic. These are fun books. They're easy to read. She's humorous. She's funny. She's down to earth. Anyone can read these books and get something out of them. I found them super duper inspiring.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. It's interesting what you said that you had read in the Holy Sweat book is very aligned with what I found in also many different sources. And it has a little like slightly different lens where you said like the world's greatest pain and like your joy. There's some other teachings because I've been into trying to figure out and decode the process of, understanding dreams, where they come from, where fulfillment come from, how to help people. And one of the things that I saw in a practical way, because I was guided through a process and then through like a whole book about it, is that our fulfillment comes from our pain, but it comes from the moments when whatever we didn't get enough of when we were little, when we give that to the world, that's where fulfillment comes from.
Oh,
That
I love that.
was like one book. And another one, which I just finished reading, Faith and Destiny. Um, that one was talking about our pains and our gifts being very, very close. Like whatever our destiny, whatever our dream is, like when we're coming close, it will feel very, very painful because those are there to kind of like guide and protect us. Many teachers say, like whatever you fear of, you have to go after it or stuff like that. But
Yes.
also like when people think is like, oh, I don't know what my dream is. Uh, but when they go towards where their pain is, there's usually something that pain is protecting. And it usually has something to do with the dream. And I'm just fascinated by this topic. So very
I
grateful.
love that. I love how you describe
Uh,
that, and thank you for sharing it to me also because I think you're exactly right. I think it resonates as truth. I thank you for sharing. That's super interesting.
yeah, I love how like different teachers, different sources guide us to the same destination. It's like, okay,
Yes,
that route doesn't work. Okay, you can try that route. Oh, that doesn't work. You can try this third route.
absolutely, for sure.
Yeah. I loved when you were talking because you had like so much energy. And that's why I love interviewing people who have dreams and they have created them. Like you have a frequency to you. Like you don't just think that anything is possible. You know it because you created it. And then when you know, it transmits to hopefully all the people that are listening to you right now. So they can get and borrow a little bit of that trust and a little bit of that knowing for themselves and their own dreams. So thank you. Very grateful.
Oh, my pleasure. One thing that we read, Pam Grout says it, but I know other authors do as well. It says if you want to know what you're thinking about, look around you,
Mhm.
because your thoughts create your reality, right? If you want to know what you're thinking, look at your surroundings. And when I look outside this window right now, I see a whole sanctuary. I see 130 rescued cats. I see lives that have been saved. So I know what I've been thinking because I see it in front of me. It's my reality, what I've been thinking.
That is beautiful. Look around, see what you got, then change your thinking accordingly. if you
Yes.
or if your dream is already here, keep going.
Keep going with it. Exactly.
That is so
And I
cool.
do think it does take ongoing work, right, to protect our dream because the world is going to tell us different things, right? Your dream doesn't make sense. How are you going to afford your dream? How do you have the skill set to accomplish your dream? Who are you? Why is that important? Why are you spending money that way? Why this, that, and the other? And so I think there is a necessity to keep supporting your own dream, supporting yourself. One way I do that is I send myself postcards. Is that crazy? But I write myself postcards. I have 30. I have 30 right now. I need to get more. And I went and I bought like postcards that I like. Like I specifically, they're all cats. Okay, they're all cats. But like cards that I would really really like, and they're addressed to me. I send them. I put them in the mail. And so it's a reminder. So these are affirmations, and I'm writing my affirmations. I'm literally sending them out into the universe, and the universe is sending them back to me. The universe is putting them back in my mailbox. And so I'm telling myself there are no limits to what I can create. That's one of them. Revolution takes big doses of passion and audacity. I want to remind myself of that every day. My full time job is a sanctuary, and I have all the abundance to meet every need and want. I'm telling myself all the time, these become bookmarks. They sit around my house, but I always have them because I want to remind myself. This is a patron saint of cats. God love her. I want to remind myself they're affirmations. So I put them out in the world and they come back to me as a reminder to support my dream, to never give up, to never let the world tell me anything different than what I know is true.
That is so beautiful. Two things came to me when you shared that. One was, like the notes from the universe from Michael Dooley. It's like, oh, you send your own notes from your own universe. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And then another one, like you showed the stack of cards. I'm like, oh, Mike, a goddamn book. Be an amazing book. Just a stack of cards with pictures and notes. I mean, like,
Yes.
for somebody who has a similar dream or even a different dream, like, it's,
Absolutely. This I don't want to take credit for this whole process of writing cards. It was by a writer who wrote his name's gosh, I can't even remember. But it was talking about authors, like people who wanted to write books, right? And
uh-huh.
so he encouraged them to write themselves postcards, put it in the mail. It's like I'm an amazing author. Everything I create is highly pleasing to me. I'm creative. Everything I write is interesting. People love to remind. So it's really about becoming an author. And I was like, it doesn't have to just be about becoming an author. It can be for anything, right? For any dream. I'm gonna send my own postcards for the cat sanctuary.
Yeah, dream creation technology is universal.
Exactly.
Dream
Agree.
agnostic.
Dream diagnostic. Yes, for real.
Oh, so beautiful. Hmm. Another question to you. Of course, like we're strong, we can keep going, we'll never stop. But there were moments that were not that easy. So what I would like is for you to share maybe like one of the hardest ones, if you're willing to do it. And then how'd you get through it? Like what got you through it?
Sure. Some of the hardest moments are when, for example, we pull a lot of cats from the euthanasia list at our local shelter. We are a kill state and a kill city, and so there's just so many homeless animals that we're euthanizing. I mean, it's just the craziest thing. Like, it just seems criminal. I think in future generations they're going to look back and be like, are you kidding me? Y'all are killing healthy cats and kittens and dogs and puppies because there aren't enough homes for them all. So I'm hoping we are changing that. So a challenge is when I've taken some of these cats in, and they are so sick when I receive them. They're so sick, they're hurting, they're not eating, that I bring them home and I have to take them to get euthanized. I mean, that's against our whole what we're doing, right? It's just it's heartbreaking. And it makes me angry. Like the emotion that comes up is anger, because a lot of these cats are owner surrendered. These cats got so sick that the owners didn't want them anymore. You know, they're 15, 16, 17 years old. So they take them to our kill shelter. You sign a form that says you're surrendering this cat, and you know that they may be euthanized. And they hand them their cat that they've had all this time. And so I'm going to take them, and they're so sick that I have to get them euthanized anyways. And so the emotion is anger, because why couldn't they be brave enough, have the balls enough to take their own cat to be euthanized if that was the case? And so the way I work through it is that I can't pay attention to the person anymore. I have to pay attention to the mission, the dream, the vision, the goal, and the cat. Who am I trying to help? I really have to go back to my center, in the seat of consciousness. You know, in the seat of consciousness, you're not affected by the ego. The ego is, they say, that person's a jerk and he's the enemy and this person's horrible. The seat of consciousness, there's peace, there's calm, there's joy. And so I try to get back to that seat of consciousness, the seat of self, and focus on the love that I'm giving to this animal. It's like it gets you kind of get, move the clouds away, move the debris away, move all the stuff that goes on in the ego, things that the voices that aren't real, that are telling you the enemy is out there. And you get back down to the basics of quiet, of love, of peace, of your focus, and the cat. And you just give all that love to the cat. And I'm always with them when they're euthanized. I sing to them sometimes. I always talk to them, and I pet them and love them and just say, you are important, you are loved, please come find me on the other side.
Hmm. I love your process. Yeah, I think it is definitely useful in many cases when we go through something strong and intense. And yeah. Did you ever have any doubts? Like you started it, took you 2 years to find the property, all the hoops you have to jump through. Like, were there moments of doubts or not?
Certainly there's moments of doubts, there's still moments of doubts. How am I going to pay for all these cats? How am I going to pay for $2,000 of food every month? How am I going to take in more cats? How I need more. There's more and more and more and more. How do you do it? And if you start reading these books by Pam Grout, the ones I mentioned, it just says that we have an abundance, that there's not a lack in this world. There's an abundance. There's enough for everything. Just because Warren Buffett has a ton of money doesn't mean that you and I shouldn't have enough money. There's so much money. There's abundance. There's plenty. And when you're on the right track, the universe supports you. So I just have to remind myself, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing something good. I'm doing something beneficial. This dream was given to me, I believe, and I'm just called to carry it out. And I'm called to carry it out by a very plentiful, abundant universe. So why should I ever fear that I don't have what it takes, that I don't have enough funds or enough land or enough volunteers or enough buildings or enough anything? I have everything I need. And if you're fearful every day, well, again, what we think is what we're going to get. Those fears are going to come to fruition. So if I just believe in success and saving and creating change and stopping suffering, that's what I'm going to get. Whatever I think, whatever I believe is what I will get. And so I
Mhm.
don't have the luxury of believing in doubt or believing in fear or believing in I can't do it. I have to, for the sake of the animals I'm trying to save, I have to believe I will succeed and it will happen. It will be.
That is amazing. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Now I have another question. Um, when you set that intention, not the 25 years ago, then you kind of, went on with your life and forgot, but like your recent time when you're like, this is it, you know, I have this calling, now I have to go and create it. I'm looking for this land. Um, what were some of the breadcrumbs that the universe has sent you or like you created for yourself that is like, it's not like, oh, I set an intention, boom, here's my land. But like, what were the kind of like the little crumbles is like, oh, this is just a little bit of what you want. This is another magic. This is another synchronicity. Just share like a few of what were those that kind of like
Sure.
gave you messages that, you're on the right track, keep going.
Sure. I love that question actually. The so one of the breadcrumbs is in some of the books I was reading, it was by Louise Hay actually, and she said, just whatever your dream is, just talk about it. Just talk about it. Let people know what you're doing because you never know. So I'm a nurse, right? And I'm injecting Botox. I'm injecting filler in patients, and I'm telling all of them, not insanely, but I'm like, hey, I'm gonna start a cat sanctuary, and you can tell real quick if they're interested or if they're not. And so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna just bore you and go on and on. If you don't want to talk about cats, we'll talk about something else. But some people were really interested. They're like, what are you doing? What is this? And so those I talk a little bit more, right? And so it turns out that a patient that I had for years and years, she's like, oh God, Blake, are you really gonna do this? I hate cats. And I'm like, well, you know what? We're spaying and neutering all the cats that we can. So you should really be a fan of the sanctuary because part of our mission is to spay and neuter as many cats as we can, not only at the sanctuary, but in the community as well. She's like, really? I said, yes. She's like, when you get your 501c3, I'm going to be your first donor. I said, what? Really? She's like, absolutely. And sure enough, this person who hates cats is my very first donor. Are you kidding me? What? I could not believe it. I could not believe it. So that was a really cool thing. So that was a breadcrumb. I'm like, if the person who doesn't even like cats is giving me money, like what about all the people who love cats? You know there's tons of crazy cat people. Like this is a win, right? How can this go wrong? So that was one breadcrumb. Another one which was really big was when I saw this particular property and I knew it was a sanctuary. And the man I purchased the property from is we're in Texas, a redneck, right? He's wearing his shorts and he's got a gun in his pocket and his boots, and he's showing me the property, and it's completely done. Like he did the landscaping himself. He built this little house himself, which is so well done. I have no handyman skills. He did everything. There's a huge shed, which I knew would be the first place where I relocate the cats to. He did everything. And I talked to him, and he's like, what are you, why are you buying this land? What are you doing with it? I said, I'm going to start a cat sanctuary. He's like, what cat? Again, doesn't like cats. Cat, you're gonna put a bunch of cats out here? I said, yes, but do you know what you're doing? You put in all this effort, all this love, all this energy into this gorgeous property, into this home where my daughter and I will live. You are helping me fulfill my dream. This is a lifetime dream. And you've created everything here and you're handing it over to me. You've prepared a place for me and you're handing me over so I can fulfill my dream. I can't believe this. And he said, you were right. He said, I'm not a very religious person, but you're right. I really believe I've created this so that you can have your dream. It was just this amazing, magical moment of the universe saying, I got you. I'm going to provide you with everything you need. So that was another breadcrumb that showed me I am going in the right direction.
That is amazing. I'm gonna be crying a lot today, I guess. But to
That's
me,
so sweet.
like when that comes out, I don't know how to exactly explain it, but the best words I have for it, it's like we're coming close to the frequency of truth. Like that's
Mm.
when I have this. Like something that's been said, it is felt, it's moving, the energy, the way that it's moving. I'm like, we're so close to that. Like you are like the channel of the truth as we're speaking. So thank you.
Oh, thank
Amazing.
you.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how our listeners are gonna feel.
I wonder.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be amazing.
It's exciting.
Ah, I have so many people in my life that have different kinds of passions, like Some people are passionate about the environment and, cleaning up the oceans. Some people are
Sure.
some people are passionate about cats and dogs, lots of dog people.
Mhm.
Some people are passionate about helping people. Some people are passionate about creating systems. So it's very interesting to see how, everybody's different, and we're expressing why we came here in different ways for different parts of changing the world. Um, and okay, I'm gonna share. I don't know why I'm going there. I want to share with listeners how we met.
Okay.
And I'm scrolling Instagram on one of those days when I'm just, browsing through, looking for content I like or just like getting ideas and stuff. And I come towards this video where this woman talked about, it was a short reel, talked about how like 2 years ago I had a dream of cat sanctuary, and here I am. And there's cats running around and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, a person that had a dream and created it. And it's a cat sanctuary. I have not yet interviewed people with cat sanctuary dreams. Like that would be a really good addition to the library. So I reached out to Blake, and we had a chat and we clicked it up, and now we're here. And I just want to say, like, I freaking love your energy. Like you're such a bubbly personality. There's lots of joy. There's lots of power. And I think that's what I imagine is helping you, like enrolling all those people in your dream and spreading that energy through, is like you bring in that energy of power and love and certainty and trust and belief that people crave, many people crave, because we don't have it, you know, how do you say it, enmeshed into our educational system or whatever
True.
programming system that. So I'm very grateful and honored to be in your presence,
Oh,
and that you're
thank you.
sharing it. And I have the sense that, like, yes, your difference in the world is creating a cat sanctuary, but it's even better than that. It's even bigger than that, because through that, other people, I see as a creation as a fractal. Like you create your thing and then it ripples out. And the way it ripples out, we never know. Somebody
No, that's so
take your
true.
video and then they will think of a dream of being a football trainer, or kite surfing instructor, or starting something massive. Like you never know.
Can I share something about that reel that you saw on Instagram, the particular
Yeah,
one you're
please.
referring to? So
Uh-huh.
that reel we came up with just, yeah, I think it's 12 seconds long, right? And we got that from another idea. And that's the reel that caused us to blow up. I think we had 1,000 followers, and like 48 hours later we had 17,000 followers. Another 48 hours later we had, like, I think we are like 48,000. Like it just, so, but what's interesting is that what resonated, that not so much cats, some with cats, but what resonated with people was the dream that people want to do. This whole concept that you're talking about, this whole concept that your podcast is about having a dream and doing something bigger than yourself. And so people reached out to me from literally all over the world on Instagram because of that reel, that they want to start a sanctuary. Some of them were cat sanctuaries, but other people want to start sanctuaries for horses, lots of them for dogs. A lady reached out, she wants to do a sanctuary for chickens and turkeys. Like, okay, cool. It was so cool. Like, they want to do this. They want to follow a dream. They want their own sanctuaries. And the thing is that I knew that I needed to create more sanctuaries. I think I was thinking, gosh, I need a franchise Bearden sanctuary. Like Blake, I need to have all these little sanctuaries all over the United States, maybe then internationally. Like this needs to go global, and I need to do it. I need to do all the work. It's my job. And
Mm-hmm.
what I found out from this reel and the reaction and the comments and the messages is it's not me. That's what other people want to do. Other people want to start their own sanctuaries. I can help them. Like, this is crazy. So that was another, you talk about another breadcrumb, that people want to do their own sanctuary. They want to find that joy, that fulfillment, that excitement in starting their own sanctuary. So I've started these blogs trying to share my process and how I started the sanctuary, all the things I did wrong, a few things that I happened to get right, to teach others, to help others. Gosh, I wish I had had a handbook or a series of blogs on how to start a
Yeah.
cat sanctuary. Lord knows I had no idea. I did lots of things wrong, and I'm sharing all those and what I will do for the next sanctuary in the future. And so that was super cool. Something I just completely could have never expected or planned for, that the reel would appeal to all these people who want to start their own sanctuaries. And I just find that super exciting.
That is so cool. I totally, me in the coaching world, I'm like, I see you like creating a program for people who have a dream of creating a sanctuary, for mentoring people in their dreams. Maybe not mentoring because you're a busy woman, but like, tidbits of information shared through whatever channel of your choice, that helps people, get clear, get going, keep going, and like make it happen.
I'd love to. However I can help people, and I respond to every single person. If someone reaches out, like, "Hey, you probably won't respond, but if you have it, I will respond to you in a heartbeat," because I feel like that is part of my mission now, is to help others start their own sanctuary. And people message, and they mean well, right? They mean well. I'm not trying to put these people down, and I'm not, but they say, "Oh gosh, that's what I'll do when I win the lottery. That's what I'll do, one day." No, 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 no. And I respect it. I'm not trying to put them down, but I didn't win the lottery. I don't come from money. I'm not a trust fund baby. I didn't come from, I don't have a rich husband. I don't have any husband. I didn't, I don't,
And you have a
you,
child too. You
I have
kind
a
of
child.
like
I'm a
said,
single
like, I'm a
mom and a
single
nurse.
mom. Cool.
So you can do this. Anybody who wants to be in animal rescue, in any way, shape, or form, you can do it. There's so many different ways to be a part of saving animals. You don't need a whole sanctuary, but you could do it if you're with a whole sanctuary. You don't need to win the lottery. If you only say, "I'm going to follow my dream when I win the lottery," you're going to miss out on so many amazing opportunities right now. Let the universe be your lottery. Let the universe support you. And one of my cards, one of my postcards to myself, it says, "Test it,
Mm.
test it, try it." This crazy, insane, big idea you have, this dream that won't stop, it won't leave your mind. Test it, try it out, see what happens.
That is beautiful. When you said that, it reminded me of the quote Leila Hormozi posted on one of her channels yesterday. It's like, the surest way to be stuck, start tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And yeah, like so many people have that. I mean, I have that sometimes, not maybe about certain parts of my life, but about others, when I feel like it's like, oh, there will be a better time to do this. And in some cases, it's true. Maybe it's just not a
Sure.
priority or whatever. But for certain things, you just got to know that it's also a way of our ego protecting ourselves and being in the known and not trying to get out of a comfort zone and avoiding potential rejection from the universe or whatever the heck. Um,
You're right. And people are saying, "Gosh, I'm scared to start," or I'm scared to try something new." But you know what's the scariest thing is to get to the end of your life, to be on your deathbed and say, "I regret never trying. What if I had tried? What if I had done something? What could have happened?" I never want to live with regret. I'm one of these people, I'll say yes to almost anything. We should do merchandise. Okay. We should get this building. Okay. We should take in this cat that can't walk. Okay. I'll say yes to almost everything, for better or for worse, because I'm so scared of not trying. I'm so scared of regretting. Gosh, I wish I would have. I'll say yes to more mistakes than correct actions, but because I'm so scared of not trying. I don't want to regret anything in this life. I want to say yes to every opportunity, every possibility, everything. I'm going to cast a wide, wide net, and I'm going to see what comes in.
I love it. I love how you inverted the fear. It's like, yeah, you can be afraid, but instead of being afraid of what would happen if you do, be afraid of what would happen if you don't.
Exactly.
I love it. So
Thank you.
what is your current I know your dream of sanctuaries like in the works and it's unfolding like a beautiful flower. Like where are you at currently and what are you creating next? And kind of like what's the next version of your vision that's like it already unfolded and you're like you can see it, but you haven't yet fully brought it into the material world.
Yes, exactly. So what I envision next is to create a really big sanctuary. I have it all typed out, of course, right? I have a huge intention typed out of what I see the next sanctuary is. The current sanctuary is a little over 3 acres, right? What I envision for the next sanctuary is a huge sanctuary, 25 to 30 acres. I want to fence it all in. I want to have cabins in there for long-term volunteers. I want to have cabins there for people who want to start a sanctuary but need to see it. They want to visualize it, to bring them out there, to stay at the sanctuary, have them volunteer, and let me show you these fences. Let me show you how to do a correct fence. Let me show you these different cat houses. Let me show you how you can change a cat sanctuary into a horse sanctuary, a dog sanctuary, chicken and turkey sanctuary. And so I envision just something really, really big. Maybe we do cat yoga. Maybe we have a cat cafe out there. I just think that the possibilities are endless, and to bring more people in, I want this to be a collective, collaborative effort. This doesn't need to be about Blake. I don't need anyone to remember my name ever. What I want them to see, what I want the future to see, is that there's no more suffering of homeless cats. Like, that's what they see. That's what they know. I don't care if they know where it came from. Just that is the difference. That is the change. And so to inspire people, to bring people in that you can do this too. You can save an animal. You can turn a room into your little tiny apartment into saving cats. You can be involved with TNR. You don't even have to bring a single cat into your home ever. You can do TNR in the community, which is trap, neuter, and release community cats, and make a huge difference in your community. And you never even have to bring them to your house. There's so many ways people can participate, to be involved, to be a part of the solution instead of the problem, that I want to open those doors to everybody who wants to participate. No one should be denied the opportunity to follow this dream and to bring joy into the world and into their lives, and feel that amazing feeling of accomplishment, that they did something to make the world better.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And there's so many ways to support. And for some people, maybe like you don't have a space, you don't have a way to do it physically. Many people support by donating to the companies that do.
Absolutely.
And some people do both. Like I have a friend, she was my first guest on my podcast. Her name was Misty. And her dream was, you know, world dance movement. That's her dream. But as her recent passion that showed up in her life was dogs. She never loved dogs. She never cared for dogs. And recently she just fell in love with dogs. And now she has tons of them. And she supports whatever dogs she can support in her place, but also supports other people who take care of dogs.
That's awesome.
She raises money, or, you know, she sometimes does parties in her place, and like all the money or portion of the money collected goes to people who take care of dogs. And different parts, like here in Mexico, there's one part of it, I was really amazed. There's a lot of dogs here on the streets that are actually good breed that in the United States are worth a lot of money. But here, for whatever reason, one or another, they're running on the streets. So there's part of the initiative, kind of like of local dog enthusiasts, is all the dogs that, you know, are on the streets. You know, there's some people who, you know, see the dog, pick up the dog if it's a homeless dog, right? And then they take care of them, get them, you know, all the vaccines and whatever. And then they sell them to United States, to the families that want dogs.
Incredible. That's so smart.
I'm like, and then when they sell it, I imagine it covers the cost of all the vaccines and stuff like that. But I love the creativeness of people. You know, once you have the passion, and maybe your passion is cats or dogs, or I don't know, rabbits or bats, I don't know, but like pick one.
Yes.
And then you can participate in whatever way you want to.
You're exactly right. I love what you said about being creative. You know, all of us are creative. People say, oh, I'm not creative. You are creative. And what's the test to see if you're creative? Are you breathing? If you're breathing, you are creative. You are creative. You're creating something amazing. And I think to remind ourselves that we're all creative, not to put that as a block, but to see that as an attribute, that you are creative, and to remind yourself that you are creative.
Yes, absolutely. There's something that also percolated into my mind. Like, you had a vision. It was just you, right? You had a dream. Like Martin Luther said, like, I have a dream, and you did it. But now you're not just doing it by yourself. You have volunteers, you have people supporting, you have people donating. So none of the big dreams can happen without informing and enrolling other people into our dream. And the first part of it is like, get clear on what it is your dream, and then you communicate it. And like you said, it's like, I talk to everybody. I'm like, this is brilliant. And great. So what would you share with people who maybe like they have a dream and they're trying to do it by themselves, and maybe it's working, maybe it's not working, but like, what can you share that will help them in the dream penetrating the world mission?
You know, I think in the universe, there's some type of energy or vibe that you're not the only one with your dream, that there's other people that the universe is talking to, is conspiring with, who have a similar dream. And so I think to connect, I started connecting with all kinds of rescue groups in San Antonio, in different counties. I went to Best Friends Animal Society, which is in Utah. It's the largest sanctuary for animals. I just started connecting with people who think the same way, right? Who think so? For me, it's animals and cats and domestic animals. So just connecting with those people. And I am telling you, people will come out of the woodwork who want to help you. People would come still to this day. They'll come to my house, they'll pick up a cat and they'll take it to get fixed. Oh, I can do it, Blake. I'll drive by. I'm going that direction anyways. I just had a girl here today. She was feeding cats. She's like, Blake, if you ever need help going to the city shelter to pick up a cat, I have some free time. I'll drive the cat for you. Just put it out there, connect with these people, and it all works together. I do think dreams are collaborative, collective projects, and you want those people to help you and they want to help. It's just this win-win. You know, when we create a scenario that's a win-win where you're helping, but then other people are helping, and it makes them feel good, and it makes you feel good because you're making a difference, it just works. It's just this phenomenon of community and working together. And it's really beautiful. So to put yourself out there and believe that other people have a similar dream and they will help you, they will conspire with you along with the universe to make this all come to fruition.
I love it. I want to just highlight that mindset. I would call it shift because many people don't think that way, but that dreams are collaborative and there are people who want the same thing. I think that could be just that mindset shift for like, oh, I have this dream. I have to go and, conjure it up all by myself. It's like, no, there are other people who want the same. And many people want to lead, and many people want to support, and many people want to go and like lay bricks. Like there's like different roles we all play in dream creation. And yeah, sharing your dream with as many people as possible so they can self-select.
Absolutely. And I love what you said because you're right. Some people, I hate trapping cats. I'll go do it, but it makes me so anxious. But there's tons of volunteer trappers. That's all they do. And they're like, I would never want to have a sanctuary. It makes me so anxious to have all those cats in one place, but I'll go trap for you all day long. And other people, like we talked about, they don't want to have all these cats here, but they'll go drive. They'll take them to the vet. They'll pick them up. They'll go to, it's incredible. Some people are such introverts, right? They're like, oh gosh, like I don't want to talk to anyone. Like, can I come volunteer on a day that no one else is there? Like, I just love cats, but I don't want to talk to anybody else. Absolutely. And others say, hey, I want to bring this big group of people. We want to do a volunteer day. We're having a lesbian volunteer day on May 18th. It's a group of lesbians. I'm so excited. Like, bring all the lesbians. Fantastic. It's really interesting because no matter who you are, your personality, your quirks, your gifts, they're all welcome here. There's a place for you here.
I love it. It's the energy of what I sense in what you're sharing. It's the energy of possibility. It's the energy of inclusivity. It's the energy of being welcomed, however you are, whoever you are, and, letting people help. And I love how you said it, you need support there, but there's some people who'd love to support. So you give them the opportunity to support your dream because that's part of their dream.
You're exactly right. Yes, exactly. It makes them feel so good. They want to be a part of something. They want to be included. They want to be making a difference too.
Very cool. What other parts of this process or anything relatable that I haven't asked you that you would like me to ask you?
Oh gosh, this is one of those. And then we finish. I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I have her ask this question?
Now's your time.
Okay, I will tell you, since I know you have viewers from all over, right? From all over the world, from all over the United States. One way that we're trying to help animals in the South, where in the southern states, we have such a huge homeless cat population and dog, but my focus is cats, of course, so I'll hone in on that, is we want to transport some of these cats up north. So if there's viewers in Canada, Colorado, Washington State, Oregon, who have connections with shelters, we would love to make connections with them, and I will fundraise to provide transport for some of our friendly and adoptable cat and kittens to go up to the north. Like that's one way. There's so many things we need to do, but that's one way, is just moving some of our adoptable cats and kittens up north to find homes up there. So that would be a great way. Another way we're trying to help is we want to have a spay and neuter mobile unit so that we can go into, we have a very poor population, so that we can take a spay and neuter mobile unit to individuals who can't drive and who don't have the funds to spay and neuter. So that's one of our dreams and our visions. And if you're out there and you have like, I don't know, 1,000 acres of land and you're like, hey, I could donate 20 or 30 and I'm in Texas. We would love your land to expand and to do this next part of the dream of the vision of saving homeless animals.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So all my Seattle friends, if you know anybody who's passionate about cats and would like to connect with Blake, please send them her way.
That would be amazing. Go Seahawks.
And Canada too. I mean, I have friends in
Yeah,
Europe, US, a little bit of Russia.
that would be fantastic.
Oh, so wonderful. So Blake, where can people find you
Oh,
if you'd like
absolutely.
to connect more and
Yes, I'd love to connect with everyone. So on Instagram, we are Bear Den Sanctuary. We're also on Facebook, and then our website is www.beardensanctuary.org.
beautiful. Yes, and I will put all the links under the video,
Thank you.
recording as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to share with me. And I love that you're sharing stories. That's really cool what you're doing.
I'm very happy I reached out. I
I'm
feel,
so grateful you did.
yeah, I feel like, and I'm very happy you answered the call and jumped on this crazy adventure with me. And I just really feel like even just recording it, this thing hasn't come out yet, but I already feel the energy is going through the universe and impacting all the people with their dreams. And oh, I'm gonna cry now.
Oh,
I
it's
feel
a
like,
beautiful
but
thing.
yeah, I feel like what I feel is I think it happened for me, and I'm like thinking of like my brother and like my friends who are going through different parts of dream creation. And some of them just had an idea and they're full of enthusiasm. And some of them tried once or twice and it didn't work. And some of them maybe like tried once, gave up, thinking maybe they should go and get a job. And so this video, I felt like it was such a concentration of power, of trust, of knowing, of belief, of just like very deep knowing that I think the people who will hear it, my hope is for the people who hear it, they will remember what it's like, because that is a
Oh,
natural state. And we just forget because of, stuff. And yes, that would be my prediction intention. And if you're watching this video, or listening to a podcast, if you're getting to the audio version, and something here touched you, please comment. Like, comment, what did that ignite for you? What maybe dream idea that you picked up from the dusted shelf? What new action maybe you're inspired to take? Or maybe if it sparked some ideas and you're not ready to act on it, what were the ideas? And if you're inspired by this podcast, please share with a friend who needs to hear it. And I'm Galina Lipina. You can find me on all the channels as well: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Telegram, and the links will be under this episode as well. Happy to connect in any capacity. And until the next one. What were you wanted to share after we just get through?
what I wanted to share after all of this is that I love what you're doing and I love what you're sharing with your podcast and sharing other people's stories because I think a lot of times we can go through life saying life sucks and then we die, right? Life sucks and then we die. Like that just, you go to work, you retire, you hope you have enough in your retirement account and you die. Like this is not a rich life. It's a shallow life when we live like that. But when you follow your dream, it's a rich life. It's something that you really want to dig your nails into. It's like life becomes exciting. It becomes what it's meant to be. Like life is a miracle. The fact that we're here, are you kidding me? It's such an opportunity. It's such a crazy world that we get to be a part of and to embrace that, just to get into the marrow of life. And so to discard, to ignore this worldview 1.0, as Pam Grout says, of just life sucks and then we die, but to go into this, no, life is rich with opportunity and we're going to embrace it. We're going to invest our lives. We're going to make our lives meaningful and it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting and you're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah, beautiful. Ah, I'm so excited. So excited. We all have what we have, and we will have what we will create next. So
Absolutely. Yes. It's good. We just have to just kind of grab life by the balls and go for it. Like let's do this thing. Let's make it worthwhile. Let's like make it meaningful. let's do what we're called to do. And I think just then it all works together, and you're part of this energy and part of making something amazing.
When you were talking in the podcast today, I remembered I used to live in Sedona, Arizona for like a year.
Okay.
And I remember, so it's like, down south. And I was driving one day with a friend of mine to the Phoenix airport, and we just started talking about is like, what would you do if money was no object? Let's say you have like, I don't know, I think somebody posted recently, it's like, what would you do if you had 100 million in the bank? Like, what would you actually do? And back then, I'm like, oh, that's easy. I'll create a dream design academy. I'm like, what's the dream design academy? I'm like, oh, like I'll create a company that will support people with all parts of their dream creation. If they don't know what it is, we'll coach them on it. If they know what it is, but they don't know how to do it, like we'll coach them on strategy. If that has anything to do with business and they need to fundraise money, we'll help them get investors. So like the whole kind of like package of like, you want to have a dream come true, come to our dream design academy. And it was just
I
like
love that.
kind of like clear. And then I had the thought, and then it kind of like went away. And then everything I do kind of goes through iteration, like my first company was called Living Your Vision Now. I still have like, in the time machine, I was looking at my website. I'm like, oh yeah, that was my first coaching website, Living Your Vision Now. And then it was Effective Freedom, which is all about helping people create 9 freedoms in their life, starting with financial and coming up with all the ones, including the purpose. Then I realized Effective Freedom is more like very personal, but I was also starting to do a lot of business coaching and business trainings. I'm like, well, it's a bit too not corporate-y. So how can I do it in the way that will serve both? Then my next company was called Turning Point, and that's the current name,
Oh, wow.
so that I can help companies and people create changes in their lives towards whatever they want. So like dreams is part of it, but there's also aspects of like adaptability and resilience, like the skills that are necessary,
Huge.
world and the personal world. So it's like our dreams, like you were saying, like they keep coming back, and they keep coming
Yes.
back on kind of like different levels of spiral. Uh, it's the same, but it's slightly different. But it's the same, it's slightly different. But it really is the same. And
Agree. And it gets better and better, right? It keeps getting better. Yeah.
yeah, and like allowing that, because every iteration we know more, we acquired more skills, we have more clarity, we have worked through more of our own inner stuff, so we're more aligned. Um, but yeah, it's interesting how like they all keep coming back. So for all you people who think you don't know what your dream is, just look back. Like look back at the times when you were inspired. Maybe it was for a minute, maybe it was for a day, maybe it was for a year, but like there were times, and then you can help, like can connect dots. And obviously, if you need help, reach out. I do work with people in many different ways, which is not purpose of this podcast to promote, but you can find me and ask me about it. But just do something. Do something. If you don't know what to do, get help in the way that works for you. But just keep going. And one of the beliefs that I had and I have, and it got shattered a little bit, but I believe that we can create anything we commit to. And the only reason we don't create something is we stop being committed to it. And then it's just a question of check in is like, oh yeah, you want this dream. Like, what's your level of commitment? Like my biggest changes in my dreams happened after I checked in with myself and said, oh yeah, why is nothing happening? What's my level of commitment? I'm like, wow, it's a 0. Like I'm not doing anything. I'm not wanting. I just want it. Like I haven't committed to it. I just want it. And nothing happens from the energy of wanting. And just the simple questions of like, oh, well, what would I do if I would be 100% committed? That allowed me to do my first iteration of financial freedom in 2 months and do
Wow.
a next iteration. And that was the one where I actually started to work 4 hours a week from anywhere. 2 months. It took me 2 months after
That's amazing.
10 years. And then the second one was 2 years for actually creating passive income so I don't have to work. But it all started with the question, what's my level of commitment? And it was not a 10, not anywhere close to a 10. And then what would I do if it was a 10? And then do that. And then everything just unfolded. Like it wasn't easy, it wasn't fast, it took time, but commitment, that energy of commitment to me was the key ingredient, that choice, that decision, like that energy. I feel like that's what jumpstarts the universe and gives the universe the direct command of like, I'm serious now. Let's go. bring
That's so cool. You're
right
right.
now.
And I'm still at the leap of faith part because I just stopped working. I chose to stop working as a nurse to do this full time. I don't have an income. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, but I feel like I had to be all in, right? What would happen if I'm all in? If I do this full time, the sanctuary is going to be my full time job. I don't have grants, I don't have funding. I'm just doing this. I'm believing that the funding will come. I'm believing that something amazing will happen. So I'm still in the middle. I'm still in the faith part, that I'm trusting that this will happen. I'm all in 100%. It doesn't make sense on paper. My financial advisor won't even talk to me on the phone. He's like, what? You're going to stop nursing? Are you kidding me? But I have to be all in. And I believe my faith is going to carry me through to make this all work out and come to fruition. So you're exactly right. It takes commitment. Where's your level of commitment? And sometimes
Yeah.
it's scary, right? You don't know. But a lot of times it's like that invisible bridge. Like you take a step, not even seeing what's in front of you, and boom, the bridge appears before you.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't appear before you until you take that step.
Yeah. Yeah, that was also another thing that I remembered. Well, I learned in the trainings 10 years ago, but then I saw it over and over and over again in my life is that choice comes first, how comes next.
Yes.
It's like
Right.
first
And that's not how we're
commit,
taught, right?
and if we wait to commit until we see the how, it never happens. It literally never
Correct.
happens. Um,
Correct.
and like you're saying, it's like, I'm still in the leap. No, you're not a leap of faith. You already have a sanctuary with cats running around.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I do. But before I always had the sanctuary and I was working and I
Yes.
was helping to fund it. And so now I'm like, no, like sanctuary full time, like that's how we're going to grow. That's how it's going to be even bigger.
Yeah.
So I hear you. I totally agree with you in everything you've said.
I'm gonna
That's
do
inspiring.
for all of you listeners who are looking. I know there's some people in my network who help nonprofits with writing grants and like raising funds and stuff like that. So if you want to collaborate and reach out to Blake for that, please do.
That'd be amazing. I'd love all the help. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Okay, we'll stop the recording again and then we'll do some
Okay.
more awesomeness
Okay.
before we started.
The
Anything else?
nonstop podcast.
Any other thoughts, ideas, something that is like I gotta share it because it's like here and I have to get it out.
I think I shared all of my heart and my passion with you today. I feel confident that I got it all out there. And thank you for the opportunity to share. That's been really fun visiting with you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your gifts, your passions, your authenticity, your power, your belief, your commitment. Thank you.
Thank you.